All right, let's talk about cracking the code on scientific data. Whether you're staring down a test like the ACT or just trying to figure out a news report, being able to understand data, that's a real superpower. So let's get into it.
Have you ever opened a test booklet, seen one of those super complicated graphs and just felt your stomach drop a little bit? Yeah? If that's you, hey, you're not alone. It's a totally common feeling, but it's one we are about to solve for good.
So from now on, I want you to stop thinking of yourself as just a student or a test taker. Instead, you're a detective, and your mission to find the truth that's hiding in plain sight, using only the clues you're given. Think of the data as your crime scene.
So what is that mission exactly? Well, it's pretty simple. Learn how to take any piece of experimental data, I'm talking tables, charts, graphs, the whole shebang, and use it to make accurate, logical conclusions. No more guesswork, just solid detective work.
Okay, so every good detective needs a toolkit, right? And yours is all about understanding just a few core ideas. These are the absolute fundamentals that are going to help you solve any data mystery that gets thrown your way.
First up, and this is probably the most important tool you have, is knowing what a conclusion really is. See, in our world, a conclusion isn't a guess, it's not a hunch, it's not an opinion. It is an explanation that is 100% backed up by the data. If the evidence isn't there, it's not a valid conclusion, period.
And that brings us right to the golden rule of being a data detective. You have to use evidence-based thinking. This means you have to ignore what you already know, or what you think should happen, and focus only on the clues, the numbers, the labels that are right there in front of you.
So your number one job as a detective is to spot patterns. As one thing changes, what's happening to the other thing? Is it going up? Is it going down? Or is it kind of staying the same? Finding that trend, that relationship, is the first major clue you're going to uncover in any case.
Okay, now this is a classic trap. You have to know the difference between correlation and causation. Correlation just means two things are happening around the same time. Causation means one thing makes the other thing happen. The classic example, ice cream sales and shark attacks both go up in the summer. That's a correlation, but eating ice cream doesn't cause shark attacks. Don't follow that false lead.
So how do you tell the difference? Well, you have to understand the experiment's variables. See, scientists figure out relationships by changing one thing, that's the variable, while they keep everything else the same. If you can identify what's changing and what's not, you're on your way to cracking the case and finding the real story.
All right, you've got your toolkit, you know the basic concepts. Now, you need a strategy, a reliable, step-by-step game plan you can use on any chart, any table, every single time. Let's break it down.
And here it is, your 5-step plan to victory. First, just observe the data. Then, you compare the different pieces of information. Third, you identify the relationship between them. Fourth, you explain the trend you see. And finally, and this is a big one, you avoid assumptions. We're going to dig into a couple of these key steps right now. Step 1 is like taking a 30,000-foot view. Before you get lost in the details and the numbers, just look. What's the general shape of the graph? Is the line mostly going up? Is it going down? This first quick glance helps you get your bearings. So, once you've spotted a pattern, you have to put it into words. Make it a clear, simple sentence. Don't just see one axis going up while another goes right. Actually say it. As the temperature increases, the solubility increases. Defining the relationship like that makes it real and concrete in your mind. And that brings us back to the most important rule of all. Seriously, this is what separates the pros from the rookies. Do not, I repeat, do not bring in outside information. If the chart is about how fast a plant grows, your expert knowledge of car engines is useless here. Use only the data you are given.
Okay, so you've got the game plan. But even the best detectives can follow a false lead if they're not careful. Let's talk about the common traps you need to watch out for, because knowing them is half the battle.
Look, every good investigator has to know the common ways a case can go wrong. It's how you avoid making those mistakes yourself. So let's put the big ones right up on the board.
Here are the big 4 culprits. First, just guessing without actually looking. Second, the one we talked about, confusing correlation with causation. Third, and this is a sneaky one, ignoring the labels on the axes. Is that distance in feet or miles? That kind of matters. And finally, the one we keep coming back to, using outside knowledge. Stick to the facts of this case and this case only.
We've covered the tools, the game plan, and the traps.
Now, let's pull it all together with the ultimate pro tip. This is how you craft a perfect case-closing conclusion every single time. I want you to think of this as the secret formula. It's like the master key that can unlock pretty much any data mystery you're ever going to face.
Here it is. It's so simple. A great conclusion has just two parts. First, you state what happened. That's the pattern you saw. And second, you explain why it happened, using only logic you can find in the data. What happened plus why it happened, that's it.
And this little formula basically sums up our entire detective process, doesn't it? You start with a simple observation, you define the pattern, you come up with an explanation based only on the evidence, and that leads you straight to a solid, bulletproof conclusion. So there you have it. You've got the tools, you've got the strategy, and you've got the mindset of a data detective. The clues are always out there, waiting. The truth is in the data. The only question left is, are you ready to crack the case?